Hello, I'm making bread today. Okay, I have 800 grams of bread flour and 200 grams of wheat flour. That's the spatula weight. There we go. That's 1,000-ish. Okay, and then I'm mixing in my water, which is about 77 degrees Fahrenheit. And I'm going to put 770 grams of that in. Okay, mixer in. I don't have a bread hook or a stand mixer, obviously. But I just do this. Good enough. That's kind of what that looks like. So I will cover it up with a shower cap. It is 1:30 p.m. and my starter, I keep it in that closet because it's warm. I fed it at like 9 a.m. this morning with a 1:1:1 ratio. And it started about here and, almost doubled. So after an hour of this sitting here, I'll add this guy in. Okay, I've got my starter. That's rip-roaring to go. Really happy looking. I'm going to measure out 200 grams. And 190, close enough. Okay. Do the same for like 22 grams of salt. This is my 1 hour autolyzed dough. Cool. And then I do like half the salt. Just, I don't know. I'll have the other half after I mix it. Some. So this guy I just like to kind of pull and fold to kind of laminate the starter in. And then I do that a bunch. I don't know exactly how many folds it takes to get the starter like well distributed, but this is a method that I've found to work pretty good. I can still see like little bits of starter hanging out. That's like different from the rest of the dough. So I just keep folding and whatever until it feels like it's at least kind of through the layers. By the end of the rest of your folds and bulk fermentation, it'll be plenty mixed. Alright, that's looking decently consistent. I can't see any like lighter sections of starter. All kind of homogeneous. Now, I set a timer for 3 hours, 2.5 hours, 2 hours, or whatever, 30-minute increments. That's about 6 coil folds. Sometimes I do 4, sometimes I do 6. It depends on how the dough is feeling, but we'll see. Okay, coil fold number 1. Sort of what that guy looks like. All right. Wow, super super stretchy. Good stretch. And another one, 90 degrees. Okay. That's what this guy looks like. Little close-up view after the first fold. It looks like it's already rising. That's fun. Nice. Stretched out, but not as much as before. All right. Okay, number 3. Yeah. Yeah. It's holding a lot of shape now. I can't remember if this is number 4 or 5, but starting to get nice little bubbles on here. We shall see. Oh yeah, it's quite smooth and a little stiffer. It really might only need one more after this. This guy's looking quite taut. Okay, I'm going to do one more fold. So that would be 5. It's got little bubbles in it and it's kind of curved on the top. But not super tight after half an hour, so I think maybe one more. Yeah, it's quite smooth and it doesn't droop too much. Yeah, I could barely tuck that one under, but yeah, it's got a really nice tight surface on it. So I'm just gonna let that rise for what, like 2.5, 3 more hours. I'm gonna get this thing out of my proofing cabinet. That rose quite a bit. Got some nice bubbles. All right. Kind of making a mess of it, but what you gonna do? So for the pre-shape, just kind of pull it out, and I guess, by the way, it should look nice and extensible without tearing. Whatever. Pull it out. Do this in like a little rotational pattern. Okay, flip them over and just kind of tuck them in. End up with a nice little, nice little bowl. So you got this little guy. All right. Do that. And then I just let it sit for half an hour. Okay. Time to get ready for the final shaping and then placing those shaped loaves into the proofing basket. So I just kind of flour these guys up. I just kind of work the flour around inside this guy. Get rid of some excess. Same on this guy. Okay. So I don't have a ton of room in here, but I do my shaping here. Got my little loaves resting over here on top of the refrigerator. And then here is where I like to pour out some sesame seeds. They taste good, plus they make me look like I know what I'm doing. Just do some like regular and some black. And then when I've shaped, I flip it over here, roll it over, and then pick that guy up, dump him in the basket. Okay, so I just transfer that guy there. And it's pretty much exactly the same as the pre-shape. So, get a little stretch out. It already even feels a little different than before. It's got a little bit of tension on it. But I do the same, kind of pull out, tuck in, pull out, tuck in. And even there, it's kind of got some nice tension on it. Then, if you flip it over, you can kind of do the same deal where you tuck in below. And you're left with what should be a really nice little bowl. So if you sit there, let it sit there for, I don't know, a little bit, the bottom will tend to stick together a little bit more where you've like seamed it in. So just kind of give it a second there. Maybe drink some beer. Okay. So you've got kind of like a nice covering, and there she blows. This is my second shaped loaf. Just wanted to show you these little guys. Man, nice and active. So if I wasn't seeing anything like that, I'd be a little bit worried. But she's rising. Okay. I did it. So this is my fridge. Let's see if I can find a flat spot. And you will live in there until tomorrow morning. Bye, buddy. Morning. So I'll preheat this guy for a full hour because my oven doesn't get that hot. And I need every little bit of heat I can get. I put the lid on the bottom just because it's closer to the flame and it gets a little hotter. Okay. Good morning. Okay, so my Dutch oven preheated. I cut a little circle parchment paper with a razor blade and a plate. I've got my slicer, yame? I don't know how to say this. And then my first loaf, which I pulled out of the fridge about half an hour ago. I put the basket in crooked, I guess, so it's crooked, but no big deal. So flip, and then peel this guy back, slice, and let's see if it, oh, that's nice. All right, cool. whatever. I'm not the prettiest with this step, but if you get the blade in kind of at an angle and make a little ridge, you'll get a nice brown crust once you bake her. So for this step, just do this. So if your oven does go up to 500, I've heard that 25 minutes with the lid on and then 25 minutes with the lid off works. Just play around and see what gets you a nice spring out of the first session, and then see what gets a nice crust brown out of the lid off session. One trick I use to keep the bottom of my loaf burning, because I have to bake it for so long, is to like put the second session no lid on a baking pan. Okay. Hey, wow. Man, that popped up. Okay. I go to the baking pan. I put the lid back in the oven so that it's hot for the next loaf. Kind of keep that preheat going. And there we go. So 25 minutes at max temp for me. 425, 450-ish. Okay, that is 25 minutes. Yeah. Boom. All right. And I'll reuse the paper for the next loaf. That one came out good. Oh, that's fun. All right. Let's see what you look like. Yeah. That smells so good. I'm going to toast you a little bit. I'm going to put some butter on it. And just for fun, here's the second loaf. I might have cut that top score a little deep. What a jaunty little hat.